All right, buckle in, because this isn't just another preseason fumble or a bad call in the fourth quarter. This is a full-blown quarterback drama that's threatening to implode the Cleveland Browns from the inside out. At the center, two quarterbacks, one coach, and a franchise standing on the edge of a very familiar cliff. Dillon Gabriel. He was supposed to be the safe bet, the polished college star with confidence, experience, and just enough buzz to quiet the critics. And for a while it worked. If you're into the real story and all the messy twists they don't show on highlight reels, go ahead and subscribe. And if you're sticking around to see how this Browns QB chaos plays out, you should definitely be subscribed. He said the right things in interviews, showed flashes in practice. The staff rallied behind him, and head coach Kevin Stefanski made the call. Gabriel would get the first-team reps. He'd be the guy. And for Shedeur Sanders? Nothing. Relegated to QB4. Kept in the shadows. No press buzz, no real reps with the starters. And when the noise around his standout debut started getting too loud, suddenly he's injured. An oblique strain. Vague. Unverifiable. Convenient. Fans weren't buying it. Analysts weren't buying it. And let's be honest, Shedeur probably wasn't either. But here's the thing about hiding the truth in football. Eventually, the game exposes it for you. So let's talk about what actually happened. Gabriel takes the field in the first preseason game like it's his moment. The moment to shut down all the doubters. And instead, he implodes. A pick six that looked like it belonged in a blooper reel. A botched handoff. Missed reads. Poor pocket awareness. Every single thing you don't want to see from a guy being groomed to take over your franchise. Meanwhile, Shedeur, already iced out, already labeled an entertainer by his own teammate, sits on the sideline, fully suited but underutilized. And still, calm, focused, composed. He doesn't need to say anything, because the game says it all for him. And now Stefanski's out here doing press conferences, admitting it, saying the words everyone has been waiting to hear. Starting Gabriel may have been a mistake. Let's pause on that, because in the NFL, coaches don't make statements like that lightly. That's not a tweak. That's not a we're evaluating. That's a coach waving the white flag in front of the entire city of Cleveland. He got it wrong. But how did we get here? And more importantly, why did we get here? The answer is not as simple as Gabriel had a bad game, because Stefanski didn't just stick with Gabriel after one mistake. He stuck with him through the mistakes, through the turnovers, through the hesitation, through the boos. Why? Because admitting Shedeur was the better quarterback would have meant more than just changing starters. It would have meant admitting that the depth chart was built on politics, not performance. It would have meant admitting that the fake injury narrative was just a tool to slow down a media explosion. It would have meant admitting that the rookie with the NFL Hall of Famer father might actually be as good as advertised. And that's scary to people who built their plan around someone else. But football doesn't care about your plan. Football cares about results. And when the result is Dillon Gabriel coughing up the game while Shedeur Sanders rots on the bench, you're not protecting your team. You're sabotaging it. And the locker room knows. Don't think for a second that the guys in that building haven't picked a side. NFL players aren't stupid. They see the throws in practice. They hear the chatter. They feel the difference when the huddle calms down under Shedeur's leadership compared to the chaos Gabriel brings. Leadership? That's earned. And Shedeur earned it before he ever stepped on the field for a live snap. And now, the fans are done waiting. They watched Stefanski push his narrative long enough. They watched him hand Gabriel opportunity after opportunity, while Shedeur got crumbs. They watched as Gabriel called him an entertainer, and tried to throw shade without even earning the right to talk trash. And now they want blood. They want answers. They want Shedeur. And more than anything, they want this franchise to stop wasting talent out of fear. Because make no mistake, this isn't just a quarterback battle. This is about a coach trying to keep control of a narrative that spiraled out of his hands the moment Shedeur Sanders threw his first preseason touchdown. It was never supposed to be like this. In Stefanski's mind, Gabriel would be serviceable. Maybe not perfect, but good enough to give the rookie time to grow. But Shedeur didn't wait. He grew right in front of their eyes. And that's when the panic set in. That's when the injury showed up. That's when the reps got taken away. That's when Gabriel was sent out week after week to prove something he clearly wasn't capable of proving. And now Stefanski is left trying to pick up the pieces. Because when you say out loud that you got it wrong, you don't just change quarterbacks. You change the expectation. And the expectation now is clear. Start Shedeur Sanders or face the fire. This is Cleveland, after all, a city that has been burned by quarterback disasters for decades. They know what failure looks like. They can smell it coming. And right now, they smell fear. Not from Shedeur, but from Stefanski. So, where does it go from here? That's the million-dollar question. Will Stefanski double down and try to salvage Gabriel's confidence with more undeserved starts? Or will he take the L, own it completely, and ride the momentum that Shedeur brings? Because here's the thing, this isn't just about the Browns anymore. This is a league-wide story now. Teams across the NFL are watching this unfold. Fans from coast to coast are following every headline. And if Stefanski squanders this, he won't just lose games. He'll lose Shedeur. He'll lose the locker room. And he'll lose his job. Because a star quarterback is the hardest thing to find in this league. And the Browns might already have one. Sitting, waiting, ready. And if you waste that, if you kill that momentum just to protect your pride, you don't deserve to coach in this league. This isn't just about a QB battle anymore. It's about trust. It's about judgment. And now it's about redemption. Because there's still time to get it right. But that time is running out. The fans know it. The players know it. And after that press conference, Kevin Stefanski finally knows it too. Let's go even deeper. Because the Browns' quarterback drama isn't just hanging over Cleveland. It's shaking the entire foundation of the franchise like a ticking time bomb that everyone hears, but no one wants to defuse. Kevin Stefanski's confession didn't just rattle some cages. It tore down the whole cage door. His statement, starting Dillon Gabriel was a mistake, wasn't just a mea culpa. It was a full-blown collapse of whatever fictional hierarchy the Browns' coaching staff had been selling to the public for weeks. Now that the illusion is shattered, everyone's watching what comes next. And here's the uncomfortable truth no one inside Berea wants to say out loud. They backed the wrong horse. And worse than that, they knew. They saw Shedeur in practice. They saw how he carried himself in the film room. They watched him operate with poise, maturity, and field vision beyond his years. They knew he was different. But they told themselves it was better to play it safe. Better to go with the guy they could control. Better to delay the inevitable, so they could ease the rookie in without the spotlight crushing him. Problem is, Shedeur was built for the spotlight. And the second they tried to dim it, it only burned brighter. It's wild to think about how fast it all unraveled. Just a few weeks ago, Stefanski was calmly brushing off questions with his usual coach speak. We like what Shedeur's doing, but Dillon's been in the system longer. Translation? We're not ready to admit he's outplaying our guy. And now, here we are. Gabriel's a turnover machine. The locker room's whispering. The media is torching the staff on every channel. And Shedeur? He's sitting there like a silent storm, watching everything come undone, knowing full well it never had to be like this. Imagine being him in this moment. You ball out in your first chance. You lead 2 touchdown drives. You're calm under pressure. You electrify the fan base. You don't talk trash. You don't gloat. You just do your job. And the reward? 4th string. Bench behind players with less production, less upside, and less control of the offense. Now, to make matters worse, you have a coach out here fumbling the PR bag in real time, confessing to the world that, yeah, maybe, just maybe, Shedeur Sanders should have had the shot all along. Oh, now you realize it? Now that the fan base is ready to riot, the defense is losing faith, and the entire national media cycle has turned into a free Shedeur movement? Funny how fast the epiphany hits once the losses start stacking and the locker room's unity starts to crack. And it is cracking. Don't let the smiles at practice fool you. You can feel it in the body language. Veterans looking sideways at the coaching staff. Offensive linemen wondering who they'll be protecting next week. Receivers getting asked in interviews who they feel most in sync with. The cracks are everywhere. This isn't just a quarterback controversy. This is a leadership vacuum. And Stefanski's at the center of it. He had a chance to take control weeks ago. He could have done the bold thing, the right thing, and named Shedeur the starter after his first breakout performance. Would it have caused waves? Sure. Would it have drawn headlines? Of course. But guess what? It already has. The chaos you were trying to avoid, you caused it by trying to suppress it. And now, the only way out is through. There's no more hiding behind vague injury reports or playing the development card. That playbook is on fire, burned by Gabriel's erratic play and the very public loss of confidence from his own coach. So what happens next? If Stefanski has any shot at salvaging this, not just for the season, but for his own credibility, he needs to act fast. Shedeur Sanders must start immediately, not work his way in, not compete for more reps, not will evaluate during the week. Start him. Because here's the deeper issue. Every day you don't give Shedeur the keys, you're telling your team that merit doesn't matter, that performance doesn't matter, that the depth chart is about politics, not production. That kind of message, it spreads like poison in the locker room. You think those players don't see the favoritism? You think they don't recognize when someone's getting reps just because they're the safe choice? These guys live for competition. That's how they got here. That's how they thrive. And when you bench the guy who's actually delivering, you lose them, not just a little, not just for a game. You lose their trust. And once it's gone, good luck getting it back. That's the price Stefanski is now staring down. Either he owns his mistake fully and lets Shedeur take the reins, or he risks losing the very locker room he's trying to lead. And when you're a head coach in the NFL, you can't afford to lose a team. Not for a second. Because the NFL isn't patient. It doesn't wait for you to figure it out. If your locker room tunes you out, you're gone. Just ask the last dozen coaches who tried to ride out a QB disaster instead of fixing it. Stefanski's got maybe one more week, maybe, before this thing explodes beyond repair. Before fans show up to the stadium in Sanders jerseys demanding his start. Before reporters start asking the players who they want under center. Before team execs start whispering about replacements. It's not just about wins and losses anymore. It's about who this team believes in. And right now, that's not Dillon Gabriel. It's Shedeur Sanders, the rookie, the entertainer, the quiet assassin, the one who never got the reps he earned, never got the respect he deserved, but still waited, still worked, and still came out the better quarterback. He never needed a clap back. He never needed a press tour. He let the tape do the talking. And now, the whole league is listening. So Stefanski has one job. Just one. Make the move. Commit. Announce it. Don't hedge. Don't waffle. Don't say we're still evaluating. Say it with your chest. Shedeur Sanders is our starter. Say it today. Say it loud. Say it before you lose the team, the season, and your job. Because this is no longer about keeping a lid on controversy. The lid is off. The pot is boiling. And the future of your franchise? He's standing on the sideline, helmet in hand, waiting to prove you right, or prove you wrong all over again. Let's keep going, because the story, it's not just heating up. It's about to boil over. Kevin Stefanski's dilemma isn't theoretical anymore. It's not some abstract debate about roster management or quarterback development timelines. No, this is as real as it gets. Because once you say the quiet part out loud, once you admit that starting Dillon Gabriel was a mistake, you're officially on the clock. Every second Shedeur Sanders stays off the field from this point forward is another second that fans, teammates, and analysts are filing under mismanagement. This isn't a preseason experiment anymore. This is legacy-altering territory. Let's talk about that word for a second. Legacy. Stefanski, for all his calculated calm, came into Cleveland with something rare. Hope. A young, offensive-minded coach. A supposed quarterback whisperer. Someone who could steady the ship and build something sustainable. And for a while, people bought in. The culture felt different. The expectations? Higher. The standard? Clear. But what happens when the very coach you hire to elevate your offense starts looking more like the anchor dragging it down? Because that's where we are right now. Stefanski isn't just being second-guessed. He's being outperformed by his own players. Shedeur Sanders didn't just earn the trust of the fans. He made his own coach look behind the curve. That's the dangerous part. When a rookie quarterback is showing better awareness, better decision-making, better composure than your hand-picked starter, what does that say about your evaluation process? Your judgment? Your leadership? It says you missed. And not just once. Repeatedly. You missed when you gave Gabriel first-team reps all camp. You missed when you covered Shedeur's momentum with the fog of a mystery injury. You missed when you let pride outweigh production. And now, you're in damage control mode. But even that's backfiring. Because here's something the Browns front office didn't calculate. Shedeur's rise isn't just football. It's cultural. It's generational. It's emotional. He represents more than just a quarterback. He represents a shift, a challenge to the status quo, a young, confident, prepared player who doesn't need to beg for the spotlight. He just becomes it, without the drama, without the politics, without the ego. And Cleveland? They've fallen in love with that energy. It's not just chants in the stadium. It's the kids wearing his jersey to practice. It's the local radio hosts ripping Stefanski to shreds every morning. It's the former players hopping on national shows saying, the Browns finally have something real, and they're about to screw it up. And all Shedeur had to do was wait, watch, learn, until now. Because now that patience, it's wearing thin, not just for the fans, but for Sanders himself. You think he's not aware of what's happening? That he doesn't know how close he is to grabbing this team and never letting go? He's smart, sharp, calculated, just like his father. He's not going to cause a scene. He doesn't need to. All he needs is a window. And Stefanski just cracked it open with those 6 words. Starting Gabriel was a mistake. Let's be real. Shedeur knows what time it is. And that should scare the league. Because once he gets the nod, once he's finally unleashed with the full trust of the coaching staff and the locker room, he's not giving that job back. This isn't going to be a split reps situation. This isn't going to be a hot hand rotation. If Shedeur starts, he's finishing the season. He's taking the reins. He's becoming the guy. And not just for this season, but for years to come. You want to know how franchises turn around? You want to know how once cursed teams flip their narrative? They stop hesitating. They stop protecting the past. And they lean all the way into the future. Shedeur Sanders is that future. But here's where things get messy. Because Kevin Stefanski might not survive this future if he doesn't fully embrace it. That's the catch. Giving Shedeur the job isn't just about making the right move. It's about owning the fact that you try to delay it. And Cleveland fans, they have long memories. Even if Shedeur dominates, even if the Browns win games, there will always be the lingering question, why did it take so long? And that question will follow Stefanski into every press conference, every midweek interview, every playoff run, if they even get that far. The only way to outrun that question? Double down on Shedeur. Make him the face. Build the offense around him. Let the city, the league, the world know this is the guy, and we're all in. Because if you try to hedge again, if you even flinch in your commitment, you won't just lose your locker room. You'll lose your team, your fan base, and eventually your job. That's how serious this is. We're at the part of the movie where the protagonist, in this case Shedeur, is staring down the moment that changes everything. The team is fractured. The coach is cornered. The city is divided. And the clock is ticking. Will Stefanski finally let the kid lead? Will he take the leap? Or will he retreat back into fear, playing it safe while the Browns spiral into yet another wasted season? History says they play it safe. But maybe, just maybe, this time is different. Maybe Stefanski really has learned from his mistake. Maybe he sees that Shedeur is not just a rising star. He's the last, best hope for a franchise that's been too long in the dark. And if he doesn't, well, then the Browns deserve whatever comes next. Because you don't get many chances to flip the script. You don't often get a quarterback who walks in the building and makes the room feel different. And when you do, you hand him the ball. You let him cook, you let him shine, and you don't look back.